Kneel between my legs. 5 words. Mikasa's knees buckle before her brain understands why. The American soldier sits on a wooden stool, legs spread, waiting. Behind her, 17 Japanese women stand frozen in a line that stretches to the tent's canvas wall. She knows what comes next. Every woman here knows. Amerika jin wa onna wo dobutsu no yu ni atsukaimasu. Americans treat women like animals. Her commanding officer said it during training. Her mother whispered it before deployment. The propaganda posters showed it, blonde beasts with bloody hands reaching for Japanese women. Over 10,000 Japanese military women served by 1945. Fewer than 300 were captured alive. Mikasa is one of them. The tent smells like antiseptic and diesel. Canvas flaps in the Pacific wind. June heat presses down, but her hands are ice. Behind her, Noriko, 19, communications operator, youngest here, starts hyperventilating. Sharp, shallow breaths. The sound of prey knowing the predator has arrived. The American gestures again, impatient. Kneel. Mikasa's legs won't move. 7 years of training say run, fight, die before dishonor. But her ankles are shackled to the woman behind her. 18 women, 1 chain, no escape. Then she sees his hands, not reaching for his belt, not forming fists. He's holding something metallic, silver, tubular. Her brain can't process it. The shape doesn't match the threat. It looks like... No, that makes no sense. He gestures to the floor between his boots. The concrete is stained with something brown. Old blood? Rust? Mikasa's stomach lurches. Shinaba raku ni naru. Death would be easier. Noriko whispers it like a prayer. 3 women back, someone is crying. Quiet, strangled sobs. The American sighs, says something in English to another soldier by the entrance. That one shrugs, leaves. Now they're alone. 18 women, 1 American, 1 chain. He stands. Mikasa flinches backward, crashes into Noriko. The chain rattles. Everyone stumbles, but he doesn't advance. He walks to a metal table, sets down the silver object, picks up something else. A clipboard, pen. He writes something. The scratch of graphite on paper sounds like insects. Then a new voice. Female. American accent, but the words are Japanese. Anata wa shindan wo ukemasu. You are receiving a medical examination. Mikasa turns. A woman in olive uniform stands at the tent entrance. Red cross on her sleeve. She's holding the silver object now, a stethoscope. But if this is medicine, why is he sitting like that? The stethoscope catches fluorescent light. Cold metal. Clinical. But Mikasa can't stop staring at the stool, at the space between his boots, at the position she's being told to assume. Kore wa wanada. This is a trap. The thought loops. Kindness is the first knife. The American woman approaches. Her name tag reads Hayes. She speaks again, Japanese fractured but understandable. He listens to your heart, lungs, you. Kneel because, she pauses, searches for words, points at her own ears, then at the stethoscope. He cannot hear if you stand. The tube is short. Japanese propaganda claimed 100% of captured women were violated. Official military briefings, printed materials, exposed as truth through witness accounts that were fabricated in Tokyo offices by men who'd never seen combat. 0 documented assault cases existed in actual U.S. Army medical protocols. But Mikasa doesn't know this, can't know this. She knows her training, her mother's warnings, the posters. Noriko's breathing sharpens behind her. Don't do it, they're lying. The American man, his name tag says Brennan, looks at Hayes, speaks English, fast, frustrated. Hayes responds. They argue about something. Mikasa catches one word repeated, protocol. The chain rattles. Someone fell. 3 women back, Chio, 26, military clerk, has collapsed. Heat, fear. The combination drops people. Brennan moves toward her. Mikasa's heart stops, but he doesn't touch Chio. He kneels beside her, presses 2 fingers to her neck, checks her pulse. His other hand waves at Hayes, urgent. Water, now. Hayes runs, returns with a canteen. Brennan tips it to Chio's lips, gently, supporting her head with his palm. Nays? Why? Mikasa hears herself ask it aloud. Didn't mean to speak. Brennan looks up, doesn't understand Japanese. But he understands the tone, the confusion. He points at the red cross on his sleeve, then at Chio, then at the canteen. Doctor, he says, the only Japanese word he knows. Chio coughs. Water dribbles down her chin. She's conscious, alive, untouched except for medical assessment. Brennan stands, returns to his stool, picks up the stethoscope, waits. The tent is silent except for canvas flapping. Diesel generators humming outside. Chio's ragged breathing. Mikasa looks at Noriko, at the 17 women chained behind her, at the stool, at the space between his boots. Someone has to go first. She steps forward. The chain drags, metal scrapes concrete. Her knees bend, and then Hayes says something that changes everything. I examine you instead. Hayes steps forward, takes the stethoscope from Brennan. He protests. English words sharp and fast, but she cuts him off with a look. Watashi wa josei desu. I am a woman. Hayes says it directly to Mikasa, points at herself, at the stethoscope, at the floor. You kneel, I listen. No man. Mikasa's brain stalls. This violates everything she was taught. Brennan argues louder. Protocol, efficiency. They're behind schedule. 47 more women waiting in the next tent. Hayes ignores him, pulls the stool away from his position, sits down herself, spreads her knees. Kneel. Same position, same words, different person. Noriko hisses, it's still a trap. Female guards were the worst in our camps. But Mikasa is already moving, watching, calculating. Only 12 American military nurses in the Pacific spoke any Japanese. Hayes learned from a college roommate, a Nisei girl from California. They shared a dorm in 1938, before the war made that friendship illegal. Hayes pats the space between her boots, concrete floor, brown stains that Mikasa now realizes are iodine, not blood. The position is still humiliating, still subservient. A woman on her knees before a captor, but the captor is also female. Something in Mikasa's chest loosens. Not trust, not yet. But the suffocating certainty of violence fades 1 degree. She kneels. Hayes places the stethoscope on Mikasa's chest. Cold metal through thin fabric. The disc presses against her sternum. Breathe deep. Mikasa inhales. Her ribs expand. The chain behind her clinks as other women shift, watching. Hayes listens, moves the stethoscope, listens again. Her face reveals nothing. Clinical, professional. Then she reaches for Mikasa's wrist. Mikasa flinches. Can't help it. Hayes pauses, shows her own wrist, presses 2 fingers to the vein, demonstrates taking a pulse. This, only this. Slowly, Mikasa extends her arm. Hayes's fingers are warm, human. She counts silently, lips moving. 10 seconds, 20. Then, Mikasa sees it. A scar, running from Hayes's wrist to her elbow, jagged, raised. The tissue is still pink, fresh within the year. Shrapnel. Mikasa recognizes the pattern. She's seen it on bodies, on survivors, on herself. Anata mo kizutsuita iru. You're wounded too. She doesn't say it aloud, but Hayes sees her staring, sees the recognition. For a moment, neither moves. Captor and captive, both scarred by the same war. Hayes pulls her sleeve down. Next test, open mouth. But something has shifted. The scar tells a story Hayes doesn't share, but Mikasa knows. Shrapnel leaves signatures, the jagged line, the starburst entry point, the way tissue heals in ridges. She's cataloged wounds like this on 100 soldiers. Hayes was close to an explosion, very close. USS Comfort, March 1945. A hospital ship clearly marked with red crosses. International law said it was untouchable. A kamikaze pilot disagreed. 28 nurses died in their bunks. Hayes survived because she was checking a patient's vitals one deck below. The ceiling collapsed. Steel beams. Fire. Her arm caught 7 pieces of shrapnel in 3 seconds. Mikasa doesn't know these details, won't learn them for months, but she knows the wound is real. Itai? Does it hurt? The question escapes before Mikasa can stop it. First word she's spoken voluntarily since capture. Hayes blinks, understands, nods slowly. Every day. 2 words, no self-pity, no performance, just fact. Behind Mikasa, the chain shifts. Noriko leans forward, straining to hear. Chio is sitting up now, color returning to her face. Even Brennan has stopped protesting, watching the exchange with something unreadable in his expression. Hayes continues the examination. Tongue depressor, penlight in the eyes. Reflex test. On the knee. Each procedure explained in broken Japanese before execution. No surprises. No sudden movements. Mikasa's pulse slows. Still elevated, 92 beats per minute, but down from the 130 when she first entered the tent. Then Hayes asks for something unexpected. Show feet. Mikasa hesitates. Her boots haven't come off in 11 days. The march to surrender covered 40 kilometers. Mountain terrain, rain, no rest. She knows what's underneath. Slowly she unlaces the boots, pulls. The leather sticks, fused to dried blood. She has to yank. The pain is familiar, manageable. Her feet emerge. Hayes's face goes pale. Blisters cover the heels, burst, infected, weeping. 3 toenails are black. Dead. The smallest toe on the left foot is purple. Possible gangrene. Naz arukitsuzuketa, no? Why did you keep walking? Hayes doesn't ask it aloud, but her eyes do. Mikasa answers anyway. Tomaru koto wa shinu koto data. To stop was to die. Hayes calls Brennan over. Rapid English. Medical terms Mikasa doesn't understand. Brennan's eyebrows climb. He leaves the tent at a jog. 3 minutes later, he returns with a surgeon, American, male, holding a scalpel. Mikasa's blood freezes. Hayes grabs her hand. For the infection, only the infection. The surgeon's name tag reads Okonjo, Nigerian-American, Chicago accent, hand steady as stone. He doesn't look at Mikasa's face, only her feet. Professional detachment. The same way she used to assess wounded soldiers. Kare wa nani wo suru no? What is he going to do? Noriko's voice shakes. Hayes translates, dead tissue removed, infection cleaned. She will walk again. Okonjo swabs iodine. The orange liquid burns. Mikasa's jaw clenches, but no sound escapes. She's felt worse. Shrapnel extraction without anesthesia. Field surgery in a cave while bombs fell outside. This is controlled, clinical, almost gentle. The scalpel touches necrotic tissue. Okonjo works in millimeters. Precise cuts, removing dead flesh, preserving live. The procedure that would take a Japanese field medic an hour takes him 12 minutes. Japanese military medical training, 14 weeks. American military medical training, 18 months. Okonjo's hands move like they're playing an instrument, each motion deliberate, economical. He speaks to Hayes, she translates. He says you walked 40 kilometers on these. Any soldier would be proud. Mikasa stares at him. At this man who's supposed to be her enemy, who's currently saving her ability to walk. Naze tasukaru, no? Why help? Hayes translates the question. Okonjo pauses, looks at Mikasa for the first time. Dark eyes, calm. Soldier is soldier, wounded is wounded. My job is healing. Uniform doesn't change that. He returns to work. Behind Mikasa, the chain rattles. Chio is standing now, watching. Her eyes are wet, not from fear. 23% of Japanese military women received corporal punishment during service. Standard. Discipline. Expected. 6% were permanently scarred by their own commanding officers. Chio is one of them, but no one can see it yet. Her wounds are hidden under her uniform. Okonjo finishes, wraps Mikasa's feet in clean white bandages. First clean fabric she's touched in 2 weeks. No walking for 3 days, mandatory, Hayes translates. Mikasa almost laughs. No walking. She's a prisoner. Where would she go? But then Okonjo does something unexpected. He pulls a chair from the corner, sets it beside the examination table. Sit here, rest. I'll check the others. He moves to Noriko. Same calm voice, same careful movements. Mikasa sits in the chair, watches. 18 women, one by one, examined, treated, bandaged. No one is harmed, no one is touched inappropriately. By the 5th examination, Noriko has stopped flinching. By the 10th, Chiyo volunteers information about her headaches. By the 18th, something has broken. Not bones, not bodies, beliefs. Noriko sits on the examination table, stethoscope on her chest, and she's crying. Not from fear, from confusion. Kore wa usoda, subete usoda. This is a lie. Everything is a lie. She doesn't mean the Americans are lying. She means her own government, her training, her entire worldview. Japanese military education dedicated 4 hours specifically to American capture protocols, detailed descriptions, graphic imagery, official documentation signed by generals. 0% of it was based on documented cases. Every word was fabricated in Tokyo offices by men who'd never witnessed a single American POW interaction. Noriko believed it all. Every woman in this tent believed it. Hayes doesn't comfort her, doesn't offer hollow words. She simply continues the examination. Throat, lymph nodes, blood pressure, professionalism as proof. Brennan brings water, sets it beside Noriko without speaking, returns to his clipboard, documenting vital signs, names, ages, medical conditions. Except he's not writing names. Mikasa notices. The forms have spaces for identification. Brennan fills in everything else. Height, weight, blood type. But the name field stays empty. Neze namae wo kakanai? Why don't you write names? She asks Hayes. Hayes asks Brennan. His answer is quiet. Files get archived. Archives get shared. Sometimes what the American government knows, other governments learn. He doesn't say which governments, doesn't need to. Japanese women who were captured faced investigation upon repatriation, questions about what they revealed, what they surrendered, whether their honor remained intact. 31% of documented Japanese women POWs faced retaliation post-war, lost families, lost jobs, lost everything. Brennan's empty name fields will protect 14 women from ever being traced. Mikasa watches him write nothing. The most important thing he does is what he doesn't do. Next, Okonjo calls. Chiyo steps forward, hesitates. Her hands go to her uniform buttons. Stop. I need to check your back, Okonjo says through Hayes. Standard tuberculosis screening. I'll look at your spine. Chiyo's face goes white. Dame. No, the word is sharp, absolute. Hayes frowns. It's required. Everyone must. Dame. Chiyo backs away. The chain yanks the woman behind her. Both stumble. Okonjo raises his hands. Palms out, non-threatening. We don't force examinations, never. But I need to understand. Are you injured? Ill? Something I should know? Chiyo's eyes dart to Mikasa, to Noriko, to the exit. Then slowly she reaches for her buttons. Don't scream, she whispers. Chiyo's uniform falls, burns, across her shoulder blade. Deliberate shapes, kanji characters seared into flesh. Yi Bingja, coward. Mikasa stops breathing. Anata, no jokan ga kore wo shita. Your superior did this. Hayes' voice is barely audible. Chiyo nods. Once, her spine rigid, waiting for mockery, waiting for the Americans to laugh at what her own army did. No one laughs. Okonjo approaches slowly, studies the brand without touching. His jaw tightens. A vein pulses in his temple. How long ago? 2 months. Chiyo's voice is dead, flat. I hesitated during an air raid, took cover instead of continuing my station. My commanding officer said fear was contagious, had to be burned out. Japanese military discipline protocols authorized corporal punishment for insubordination. technically illegal under their own codes, universally practiced anyway. American military banned corporal punishment entirely in 1861. The concept of branding a soldier was incomprehensible. Medieval, monstrous. Hayes's hand covers her mouth. Brennan has stopped writing. Even Noriko has stopped crying, staring at Chiyo's back with dawning horror. Watashi tachi no teki wa umi no muku ni inakata. Our enemy wasn't across the ocean. Mikasa finishes the thought silently. Soba ni ita. He was beside us. Okonjo speaks carefully. I can treat this, reduce scarring. It will take weeks, multiple procedures, but the tissue can heal. Chiyo turns, faces him. Her eyes are dry, have been dry since the branding. She stopped crying that day. Why would you help me? I'm your enemy. Okonjo's answer is immediate. You are my patient. That's the only category that matters in this tent. He retrieves burn cream from his kit. Medical grade, developed for pilots who survived cockpit fires. Applied to enemy skin, same as friendly. The cream is cool. Chiyo flinches. First reaction she's shown. It stings because nerve endings are regenerating, Okonjo explains. That's good. Means the tissue isn't completely dead. He works in silence, applying cream, covering with gauze, gentle pressure. Chiyo speaks to the wall. He said I would carry this forever, that every man who saw it would know my shame. Okonjo pauses. Every person who sees this will know one thing. You survived. The shame belongs to the man who held the iron, not the woman who bore it. Chiyo's shoulders shake. Not crying. Something deeper, something breaking loose. Behind her, Noriko reaches out, touches Chiyo's hand. The chain allows it. Contact between prisoners. Forbidden by Japanese regulation. Nobody stops them. Noriko hasn't spoken in 40 minutes. She watches. Every examination, every procedure, every interaction, cataloging evidence against everything she was taught. Now she steps forward. Not because it's her turn, because she needs to know. Anata wa uso wo tsuite iru. You are lying, Hayes blinks. About what? This. Noriko gestures at the tent, the medical equipment, the bandages on Mikasa's feet, the cream on Chiyo's burns. This is performance. You treat us well now. Others are watching, but when we're alone... She doesn't finish, doesn't need to. Hayes doesn't argue, doesn't defend. She does something else. Take this. She hands Noriko the stethoscope. Put it here. Points to her own chest. Listen. Noriko hesitates. The stethoscope is cold metal, strange weight in her palm. Listen to my heart, Hayes says, while I speak. Noriko positions the disc, presses it against Hayes's uniform. The earpieces funnel sound, rush of blood, rhythm of chambers, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. 72 beats per minute, steady, calm. You are safe. Hayes speaks slowly, clearly. No one will hurt you, not now, not later, not ever while you're in American custody. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. The heartbeat doesn't change. No acceleration, no flutter of deception. Average resting heart rate, 60 to 100 beats per minute. Lying typically elevates pulse to 90 or higher. Stress hormones spike, adrenaline surges. The body betrays the mouth. Hayes's body says nothing but calm. Noriko listens for 30 seconds, 60. The rhythm never breaks. Anata no shinzo wa uso wa tsukanai. Your heart doesn't lie. She removes the stethoscope, hands it back. I don't trust you, Noriko says. Maybe I never will, but... She stops. The word catches. But? But my government never let me check. Hayes nods, takes the stethoscope, doesn't push for more. Brennan clears his throat. We're behind schedule, 40 more women waiting. Okonjo begins packing his surgical kit. Mikasa flexes her bandaged feet. Chiyo is rebuttoning her uniform, gauze visible beneath the fabric. 18 women processed, 0 assaults, 0 punishments, 0 anything matching the propaganda. The chain is being unlocked now, women separated for different housing assignments. Those needing extended medical care, Mikasa, Chiyo, go to the infirmary tent, others to general barracks. Noriko ends up beside Mikasa in the infirmary line. Watashi wa mada shinjinai. I still don't believe. Mikasa nods. Watashi mo. Me neither. But doubt has entered. A crack in the certainty, cracks spread. 3 days in the infirmary tent. Mikasa counts every hour. Her feet heal. Okanjo visits twice daily, changes bandages, checks for infection. The purple toe stabilizes, circulation returning. He saved it. She'll walk again. Run, eventually. Kare wa watashi no ashi wo sukuta. Naze? He saved my feet. Why? The question loops. No answer satisfies. Chiyo's bed is adjacent. Her burns require daily treatment. The cream, the gauze, the gentle pressure of hands that branded no one. 31% of documented Japanese women POWs faced retaliation post-war. The statistic haunts Mikasa now. She learned it from Hayes, who cited Red Cross records. Her own government tracked who was captured, investigated what happened, punished survival. The infirmary holds 11 women, all Japanese, all former enemies, all receiving identical care to American wounded 2 tents over. Identical. Mikasa tested this, asked a recovering American private, shrapnel wound, leg, what medication he received, same antibiotics, same dosage, same schedule. Teki demo mikata demo kankei. Enemy or ally doesn't matter. The private didn't understand her words, but he understood the tone. Smiled, offered her a chocolate bar from his rations. She refused, not ready for that, not yet. But she didn't report him for fraternization, neither did he. Day 3. Okanjo removes the bandages for final inspection. Tissue regenerating well, you'll have scars, but function is preserved. He hands her boots, new ones, standard American military issue, her size, measured while she slept. Duyat watashi no saizu ga wakara? How did you know my size? Hayes translates. Okanjo points at her old boots, preserved in a corner. Measured them? Japanese sizing converts to American. I requisitioned your size from supply. He requisitioned boots for an enemy prisoner from American military supply chains. The paperwork alone would have taken effort. Justification required, forms filed, signatures obtained for her feet. Mikasa takes the boots. Leather is soft, unworn. They smell new. Arigato. Thank you. The word escapes before she can stop it. First gratitude she's expressed since capture. Okanjo nods, moves to Chiyo's bed. Hayes sits beside Mikasa. Tomorrow you transfer to long-term holding, different camp, further from combat zones. Mikasa nods. Expected this. I won't see you again, Hayes continues, but I want you to know what happened here is standard. Every American facility follows the same protocols. What you experienced isn't special treatment, it's policy. Seisaku. Policy. The word tastes strange. Her government's policy was branding, corporal punishment, teaching women to die before capture. American policy was boots, bandages, dignity. The truck smells like canvas and diesel. 12 women, 3 American guards, 6-hour drive to the permanent facility. Mikasa sits with her back against the cab wall, new boots tight on healing feet. Noriko beside her, Chiyo across, gauze visible through her collar. The guards share rations, offer some to prisoners, standard, crackers, canned meat, more food than any Japanese military transport ever provided. Karera wa watashitachi wo futorasu no ka. Are they fattening us? Noriko's old suspicion surfaces, but her voice lacks conviction. 3 days of evidence has worn the edges. Japanese POW camps served 800 calories daily to American prisoners, starvation rations, calculated cruelty. American POW camps served 3,000 calories to Japanese prisoners, more than Japanese soldiers received from their own army. The irony tastes like canned meat. The truck stops twice. Bathroom breaks. Guards escort women to latrines. Wait outside. Never enter. Hontu ni hitori ni shite kureru. They really leave us alone. Mikasa didn't believe it the first time, waited for the door to burst open, for hands to grab. Nothing, just privacy. Then the guard's voice. Finished? We should keep moving. The permanent camp is larger than expected. Wooden barracks, fenced perimeter, medical building visible near the entrance, women and men separated by 50 meters. Geneva Convention requirement, actually enforced. Processing takes 2 hours. Photographs, fingerprints, medical reassessment. No one asks Mikasa to kneel. The examinations happen standing. Female nurse, female translator, male doctor stays 10 feet away unless directly needed. Seisaku ga kawara? Did policy change? Hayes' words echo. This is standard. Every facility. It wasn't the position that was necessary, it was the listening angle. Stethoscope, acoustics. In this facility, with proper equipment, standing works. That tent in Okinawa had field gear, improvised. The kneeling was medical necessity, nothing more. Watashi wa saite, no koto wo shinjite ita. I believed the worst. Noriko says it during dinner. Rice, vegetables, actual meat, more than they ate as soldiers. We were trained to believe it, Mikasa replies. Training isn't truth. Chiyo eats in silence. Her burns itch. Healing sign, Okanjo said. She scratches absently. The barracks are cold but clean, bunks stacked too high, blankets distributed. Mikasa claims a bottom bunk, lies down, stares at wooden slats above. Tomorrow begins long-term captivity. Months, maybe years, before the war ends. But tonight, for the first time since capture, she sleeps without dreaming of violence. The enemy was supposed to be monsters. The monsters were supposed to be here. 47 years. That's how long Noriko writes to Patricia Hayes. The first letter arrives in 1947. Broken English. 3 pages. Mostly apologies for not believing. Patricia responds within a week. Their correspondence outlasts marriages, careers, continents. Noriko becomes a translator, works at repatriation centers, helps other returning women navigate the shame their government imposes. 31% faced retaliation. Noriko fights that number, 1 case at a time. Mikasa keeps her boots, not the American ones, those wore out by 1952. But the memory of them, the impossible fact of enemy hands measuring her feet, filing requisition forms, caring about her ability to walk. She becomes a nurse, trains in American-style medicine, opens a clinic in Osaka, 1954. First patient, a woman burned by her husband. Kizuato wa hazukashi mono de wa nai. Scars are not shameful. Mikasa says it to every burn victim, every survivor, every woman taught to hide what was done to her. Chiyo takes longer to heal. The brand fades, but never disappears. She doesn't want it gone. Proof, she says, of what her own army did, of what the enemy didn't. She testifies at post-war tribunals, names officers, describes practices. Her shoulder blade becomes evidence. 3 commanding officers convicted partly on her testimony. Dr. Okanjo returns to Chicago, opens a burn unit at Cook County Hospital. Treats anyone who comes through the door. Patients never learn he spent 1945 healing enemy soldiers. He doesn't consider it relevant. Corporal Brennan's lost files surface in 2003. Archivists discover 14 intake forms with everything documented except names. All 14 women died peacefully, untraced by post-war authorities. Brennan's deliberate omission protected them for 60 years. He never told anyone what he did. Died in 1987, believing it didn't matter. It mattered. Hayes receives her final letter from Noriko 1 week before dying. 1992. 45 years of friendship distilled to 1 page. Anata wa watashi ni shinjiru koto wo oshiete kureta. You taught me to believe, not in America, not in policy, in the possibility that enemies could choose humanity over hatred. The stethoscope, the original one from that tent, sits in a museum now. Okinawa Peace Memorial. Glass case, small placard. American medical equipment 1945, used to examine Japanese prisoners of war. The placard doesn't capture what it meant, the cold metal, the kneeling position, the terror and the truth. Hiza wo tsuku koto wa kutsujoku de wa nakata. Kneeling wasn't humiliation. Iyashi no hajimari data. It was the beginning of healing.